Everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about Twitter. As all of you know, Elon Musk just bought Twitter for around $44 billion. We're going to look at it from the charts, right? Just to see exactly where it could go within the next few days. I'm also going to be sharing with you another stock that you should be keeping in your watch list for tomorrow. And I'm going to be doing an update on some of the stocks that we've mentioned previously, all right? So before we begin, do not forget to annihilate the like button on your way in. And also don't forget to click on that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Alright, so let's begin right off the bat. So Twitter is up today. This one was different. It almost seemed like it was priced in. First and foremost, I made a previous video about a massive move coming into Twitter. I think it was on the 28th or the 29th after like an ascending triangle. It took a sweet time, and then there was the news about Elon Musk having 9.2% share or a percentage of Twitter, and that caused the stock to pump up. And now it seemed like that news was just slowly priced in. This is just weird because usually what happens when there is a buyout, it usually happens overnight and then the stock tends to flatline. And this is what I mean. I'm going to use ATVI as an example. That way y'all can see exactly what I'm trying to show y'all. So this is ATVI, right? So ATVI previously got bought up by Microsoft. And this is what happened. This is what typically happens during a buyout. The stock goes up and then it just trades sideways for a very, very, very long time, right? It's been trading between 77 and like 83 for the past 3 months straight. Now, will Twitter do the same thing? Will it just trade sideways for months and months, maybe 3 or 4 months? It's possible. I think it is, but I think it's lowly likely because the way it was announced, because the buyout was kind of priced in slowly, like over time, and it still turned out at $51 per share, which I think was the initial offer right here, which amounted to $44 billion for the offer. And right now, I think that it's going to chill. What I would like to see is for this thing to actually go down more. I want it to go down a little bit lower towards $47. Maybe earnings might do it. Earnings is around the corner. And if there is anything that is a little bit off with earnings or the reaction isn't too great, I think that it's going to go down back down to 47. It's going to chill a little bit more, and then mid-May we might see a run towards like $60, maybe even like $65 in this region. All right. The other scenario that I could see is with earnings again. If their earnings is spectacular and they beat the EPS and they beat the sales and the reaction is great and the markets are flying, you can see Twitter move all the way up towards $60 very, very soon, and just fill these little gaps out here. So we got $61 right there and also $64 right there. So it may get there a lot faster. So I rather have it just chill first and then eventually run to get there. I would prefer that because again, you never know what's going to happen through earnings. If you gamble through earnings and the reaction goes against you, well, your money is gone, right? So you want to play this one carefully if you want to go through with this before earnings. Be very, very careful, manage your risk. And like I always say, it is 150% gambling, but some of y'all are gonna do it anyways. All right, so that's my honest thoughts on Twitter. And speaking of stocks that have earnings, we gotta look at Microsoft, and Microsoft is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty decent for a potential long, but earnings is in the way. It is. It recently retested that previous level right there, right? It got a little bit below it, and it couldn't quite hold. And immediately there was a massive push throughout the day. Tomorrow will be very decisive. I think it is Microsoft and Google that are both reporting earnings. If both of them do not do well, if both of them have any type of like impurity in the numbers and the reaction sucks, I'll tell you right now that the Nasdaq is going to take a hit and it's going to drop by a lot. All right. So that's my honest thoughts on this one. Again, I know y'all want to gamble. If you look at the contract itself, like if you, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but usually when there's earnings, and especially on these companies that are like very heavy, like in regards to market cap, like if you check out the chain, you can see that the contracts are a lot more inflated than usual. Like usually the at the money contracts are like maybe at most between $400 or $500. But as we get closer towards earning, the IV increases, right? And then the contracts, both the calls and the puts get inflated. And then there is a potential for an IV crush, which pretty much annihilates both parties, right? Or there is a massive move in either direction. So if you're going to play this one, play it very carefully. Where am I leaning? I'm leaning a little bit more. I have to lean bullish. Just I have to lean bullish. I do. So be careful. That's my thoughts on Microsoft. All right. Now, the stock that I actually wanted to share with y'all that I think is probably gonna have a good day tomorrow. That stock is Square. And the reason why I want to share Square with y'all, I went a little bit on the tangent with Microsoft, but Square looks nice. And the reason why I think Square looks nice is because of this thing right there. If you look very closely, this is Square on the 3 minute. Formed a bullish pennant and it's literally like about to break out. Well, it was about to break out. And I think that it's going to run all the way up towards like $115 tomorrow, right? So the structure on the 5 minute is clean. It's really clean. And I think it has potential. There may even be some news. Pre-market that causes the stock to spike. And if it spikes overnight, then it may be kind of like a fade. That could happen, and that could also be a shorting opportunity. All right, so definitely watch it for that. It's either going to spike overnight or it's going to open up at like 110 and then make its run first before the market chills out, and then the big tech stocks report earnings and the fate of the market is decided. All right, so that's my honest thoughts on Square and why I wanted to share Square with y'all in this video. Now a little recap on TSM, which is the one that I was holding. So this is TSM right there. All right. And the thing about TSM, I liked it I was holding puts on this thing since $97. So it paid, and then over here. All right, let's go into the Discord. So I sold half of them. I think on this was Friday. I sold half of them around like $96 and held the rest. And as it was dropping, it looked quite clean. My goal was for it to get to $93. I told you that in the last video. But what I saw with the SPY at like 20 minutes before the market opened changed my mind about having higher expectations for the stock. All right, and not being too aggressive with that price target. So what I did as soon as I saw this thing, right? So we had that inverse head and shoulders with the SPY. The Nasdaq is a little bit off. Like the Nasdaq is like way down here. But when I saw this on the SPY, and I was like, it might bounce intraday. And the fact that buyers stepped in during the night and pushed it a little bit higher and caused that wick right there, was a bit worrisome. So as soon as I got the chance to collect profit on TSM, I took some profits at first, again, like 1 minute after the market opened. And then I pretty much waited to see if it could actually go lower to $93. Unfortunately, it didn't even quite get there. Like it almost the lowest that it got was 94.4, and then the buyer stepped in. Like this is where all bearish momentum kind of like gave out, and this is right here is exactly where I sold my last puts on TSM, and this thing just kept consolidating and pretty much taking out the value on all of these puts. And now I think that it's probably gonna go all the way up to $98 just to like retest that previous floor, and then Microsoft and Google are going to decide the fate of the market. All right, that's pretty much what I wanted to share with all of you, and that is the end of the video. Again, do not forget to annihilate the like button for the YouTube algorithm. As always, helps the channel a lot. It allows more people to get this knowledge as well. Also, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, definitely click on subscribe and click on the notification bell along with all notifications. That way you don't miss out on future uploads. If you would like to be part of a private Discord community, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. If you haven't added me on social media yet, you can find me at Ngumah and at PATTERNOLOGY LAB on Instagram and on Twitter. And lastly, if all of this is brand new to you, if you're interested in getting started in the stock market, I'll have some very basic step-by-step directions in the description of the video below. Step 1 to step 3. It only takes about 15 minutes or less for you to get set up with all the tools you need to get started immediately. You can also get some free stocks after signing up with Webull using the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ngumah for PATTERNOLOGY LAB, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.